Okay, so today our second formal block is the high block. And just like the low block was covering from about middle target low, the high block is going to cover from about middle target up. And like I mentioned in the last video, this is sort of the platonic ideal of blocking something from above or from the front. It's big, it's exaggerated, but it gets a lot of good shoulder range of motion, and it teaches you about structure. It teaches you about the way that the bones and the muscles and the tendons and things stack up to bear some good weight. So from horse stance, I'm in horse stance. My chamber position this time is going to be under the armpit and palm up. So one hand is going to point, just like before. It goes straight out, right at about that middle target. The hand that's going to do my block comes under my armpit, palm up. So it is about horizontal across my chest and at the level of the armpit. Palm up is important here because a different block we do is going to be palm down. So to distinguish it, I have palm up. Also, this provides me with the rotational element as I bring the hand up. So point and chamber. From here, hand rotates and comes up over the head. The magic distance this time, magic distance from my forehead to about the center of my wrist. Here. Things to watch out for. My shoulder stays low. I'm not flaring this up. I'm not shrugging the shoulder high. I don't want this. I keep my shoulder low. The elbows should point sort of down and out. The wrist stays in neutral. So don't kink one way or the other. Don't fold at the wrist one way or the other. It should be pretty much neutral, as though I were throwing a punch. That alignment between knuckles, wrist, and elbow stays pretty consistent, and I just roll it up and over the head. So horse stance, I point, chamber under the armpit, palm up, rotate to this high block posture. You'll notice my hand is just to the side of my center line. If you imagine this plane of symmetry down the center of my face, I want the wrist on that center line more than the actual hand itself. Imagine something's coming down, like right down at 12 o'clock on my head. I don't want the hand blocking. I want it a little bit further across so that I'm actually engaging with the forearm rather than the hand itself. So I point, I chamber, high block. From here, the hand that just blocked becomes my point. Other hand becomes the chamber. As I pull this, just take the arm out and around the arm. Take the blocking arm out and around the pointing arm. Don't run into yourself here. So as this pulls down and into the hip, my blocking hand is sweeping up and over, and they just pass one over the other. Point, chamber, block, point, chamber, block. From the side, horse stance, I point, I chamber, under the armpit, palm up, rotate as it blocks high. Point, chamber, block. Point, chamber, block. Point, chamber, block. Point, chamber, block. Front stance, same thing as with the low block. It becomes handed now. And for this class, whatever leg is in front, that hand is going to be doing the block as well. So if I'm starting in June B, and I'm going to be stepping forward with my left foot, I'll point my right, chamber my left, step into front stance with my high block. Now, once I've set this up, it's nice and easy because the hand that is blocking always turns into my point. The hand that is chambered at my hip now goes to chamber for whatever the technique is, in this case, high block. So that when I step, again, I already know where I'm headed because the point and the chamber are consistent. And from this chamber, I only ever go to this high block posture. So while I step, I don't have to think about that, I just have to do it. Point, chamber, if I'm moving back, I slide and sweep that hand up. Point, chamber, block. Notice as I'm moving back, the weight stays on my front leg, especially when we're thinking about blocking. Resist the urge to bring too much body weight back, where now I'm more 50-50 or even weight on my back leg. I want to leave that weight forward. So if I'm moving forward, I end up with about 70-ish% of the weight on the front leg. If If I'm moving back, same thing. So I'm staying rooted over that front leg, not sliding back. We'll do one more time together. Front stance. Stepping forward on the left side, high block. I point, I chamber, step, and block. Point and chamber, step, and block. Point, chamber, step, block. Moving backward, I point, I chamber, I step, and block. Point, chamber, step, and block. Point, chamber, step, block. So high block goes along really well with low block. Cover your high line, cover your low line, and again, you get this big shoulder movement. Crossing, uncrossing, crossing the other side, sweeping low on the same side, so that you get a pretty good shoulder range of motion workout throughout this practice. Play with those, and we'll see you next week.